you're live.
Good evening, love. Good evening, light. Illuminators, way showers, teachers of teachers. Thank you once again for joining us. And if you're new to our channel, thank you for being here for the first time on this first day of July. Today also happens to be Friday as we celebrate once again Goddess Friday. If you are new to the channel, I'm Wendy. This is my fiance Dave, and together we share not only the language of light, but how we explore our own higher joys, excitements, how we explore our own higher consciousness, and how we share that and educate others in higher consciousness education. As far as first go, actually, this is an impromptu first for me too, being that this is the first time I've ever actually done a impromptu live like this. So hi, everybody. This is a little bit new for me, so if I'm stammering over my words, I apologize. And actually, we've been trying to do this all day, and for whatever reason, here we are. It is actually after 9 p.m. here in the United States, so wherever you are in the world, welcome. Also, what I've started to say too is my joy, our joy, my joy and excitement of light language and sharing my experience, my joy, my excitement. So if you are new to my channel, there's over the last 7 years. So today we're celebrating the number 7, of course, as well, being the 1st of July. And so, and it also happens to be a very special number for Dave and I, the number 7. And it also happens to be that lucky number. We all talk about lucky 7 and lucky 11. And if any of you are familiar with my channel, you know how much I love numbers and synchronicity and numerology and dates. And so speaking of dates, where is it? So if happy birthday if July is your birthday, especially if it's July 1st. If you happen to be a birthday month in July, as is my youngest son, so happy birthday to all of you. July birthdays are little birthday cakes, so our birthday blessings and wishings to you. One of the things that I have loved to do for the last 7 years on my channel, if you're new here, is to share my love of the language of light languages. I started my journey and my awakening journey, and that was one of the things that truly brought me to channeling, brought me to more of knowing myself and expressing myself. And the more I share of myself with all of you, the more that all of you learn more of all of you that you are. And part of Goddess Fridays is about empowering all of us to remember the God and Goddess, the create your own reality within you. So,
And we wanted to do it live. Obviously, if you're here live, you just found out about it because we didn't know exactly when we were going to do it. But we want to do it live because part of our fun and excitement is interacting with everyone. So we're live on YouTube. If you want to talk with us, I have my phone next to me, and I'll be looking for any messages that you have while we're live and relay them to Wendy. And you could say hi
or ask a questions, or I'm going to be drawing some cards, which is if you're here and you're here tonight, or even if you're watching this not live, whenever you are, it's your now, and it's all these messages are for you in that now, that moment that you're seeing it. And part of my excitement is activating others and their interest, if they have an interest. If you have an interest in light languages, if you're curious about it, if you're new to that whole idea, I've got over literally 1,300 videos over the last 7 years, not including all the private sessions that I've been so blessed and honored to share with so many of you. And so many of you have become my forever friends, and I am forever grateful for that. If you'd like to visit my website, the link is below in the description, languagesoflights.com, plural on both. If you'd like to hear just read a little bit about my story and see what other interesting things that we can explore together in private sessions. So, and you can read a little bit more about all of that as well. So if you've got any questions about light languages, symbols, channeling, my experiences, anytime, not just today, but anytime in any of the comments. This is one of the biggest joys of all of this, as Dave said, is the sharing of it. And that's how I feel about everything that I've ever done on this channel, is it's all about the excitement of the sharing. And I feel that way deeply about interacting with everybody that we do interact with, that I interact with, or that we do together, whether it's privately, whether it's in public, whether it's through events on, I've done lots of live events on this channel, and we're intending to do more. So that was one of the joys of trying this today too, is just going live and kind of getting my feet wet again.
Well, there's a lot of exciting things to share.
And I don't know how much we'll get to tonight, but
I think the first one we want to share is something that you've talked about for a long time, and it's sitting next to you.
This?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think we should show everyone
Okay.
our new toy.
So if you've been, I've shared a few videos on our fun escapades in thrifting, going to thrift stores, consignment stores, resale shops, and how exciting that is. And I'll tell you what, I have been looking for an hourglass for years. And the funny thing is, I mean, I could buy one online if I want to, but I really wanted to just discover one. And
not just any hourglass, because most of them that you find are egg timers,
or they're really they're really
or
short time or whatever. So I was specifically looking for one that was a minimum of 30 minutes. And if you do shop online for these, they're kind of pricey. So I had even told Dave about it. So we've been keeping our eyes open, and sure enough, one day, actually I think it was just it was one of the thrift stores. Mm-hmm. And we just happened to see it, and I just couldn't even believe it. And it was really inexpensive. It was like $8 American dollars. And so I just couldn't even believe it. And it's heavy, it's glass, it's solid brass. So immediately I get this message from my guides that say hourglass readings. Now, also, if you have been with us for a while, and if you've been sharing with me, you know how much I enjoy sharing, and our live events can go hours often. So I thought this would be a fun way from my guides to say, my guide said, how about doing some hourglass readings? So this way, you and I together, I can watch the hourglass, and this is actually, we timed it. It is an actual 30-minute to the grain of sand, 30-minute timer. So I also know if I flip it over twice, I've got an hour. So we just thought it was kind of funny, because I do get very exuberant and excited when we're doing our live events, and really anytime I'm sharing with all of you, whether it's just making a video or doing anything live and interacting with all of you especially. So but anyway, so that's going to be one of our fun things to do, is hourglass readings. And so I thought it would be a lot of fun to, and I'll announce them ahead of time, so you guys, at least as far ahead of time as I can. And because I don't know if I'll be doing it at a specific time or if it'll just be impromptu, but the idea was to limit it to that time. And then that way it would be a lot more fun too, because we'll be excited to see how much we can get through before the sand runs out.
and we have a couple different ideas, but one idea would be that we would do it live, and Wendy would actually, or we would really do the reading for someone who's there live. So
yes, exactly.
It might be, there might be 2 or 3 people that all want readings, but each reading would be a half hour, and the hourglass will show how much time we have for each reading. Otherwise, because we could go on for hours.
Oh yes, because we do love it. And So
that's one idea that we have, and we're excited to start that. And also maybe just readings that we just pre-record for whatever the subject matter might be, or energies coming up. But to use the hourglass to keep it to 30, probably 30 minutes.
Probably. Yeah, I did promise myself that I would only turn it over once.
But that also allows us to do more readings that are a little more focused.
Yeah, exactly. So we thought it was just, and that's just in addition to other things that we want to do. But so, and with that said, I'm also known for, and you know, this is one of the things when you're following your highest joys and excitements, and without any expectations or insistence, the joys that result from all of those things, and synchronicity is like the key to it's like the key and the sign at the same time. The synchronicities are a form of abundance because they show us that we are on our right path. They show us that we're in harmony with our joy. We're in harmony with our highest joy and excitement, that we're in harmony with our core joy. And so there's so many things that I'm celebrating this month, this time of my life. And if you're new to the channel, this July 1st especially really is a market day for Dave and I in our journey and my personal journey. And it also happens to be the month that we met the first time. Well, anyway, the first time online. But so there's a lot of firsts here today for me as well. And so it's interesting how I'm often called the Queen of Synchronicity, and I'm loving how when all I have to do is pick up the oracle cards and the energy begins to flow and the synchronicities begin to show themselves and reveal themselves. And so it's kind of funny that one of the things that learning light languages had also sparked my interest in the oracle, but it was kind of a little way back opposite direction, because many years ago, as I wrote in my journal, it was probably 2012 or something, I think, when I was just waking up, and I had a dream, and they said, you are an oracle, and being part of the idea of the soul family of the oracle and the oracle of Delphi and so forth. So it seemed only natural that I would find my way to oracle cards, and there's a few other synchronicities with that as well. And that I was gifted a set of cards by a friend many years ago that it was long before I even considered any of this. So it was really, one of the things about being on a new journey and doing first things and being nervous about things is sometimes when we're the most nervous about things is the time when we know that maybe that's the thing that we should be following. And it was literally a year ago that Dave and I set out on a kind of, I call it a blind journey, because we were at the time it's almost hard to believe what has happened in 1 year. And a year ago, July 1st, I began packing up the house. We were in the Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Florida area at the time, just 1 year ago. And it was like all of a sudden we realized that the signs and the synchronicities were there, that there needed to be, that a change was going to happen in our lives. And so I literally began packing the house on July 1st. And by sequences of events, which I've shared in previous videos, which I don't necessarily need to get into the details right now, but that journey, we had no idea. We sold the house, had no idea where we were going, where we were going to live, and just by other signs and synchronicities ended up where we are now, here in the Birmingham, Alabama area. And all that has transpired in just such a short time. And we've only been in this house, 7 months now. It's been exactly 7 months today. So that's kind of funny. 7, another 7, you guys. And I gotta say, where's my bag? So I've had this bag for a long time. Now I've shared this in many, many videos, my 777 bag. Lucky gal and loving it. And it's the slot machines. And part of what we love to share is, how do we apply all of these higher consciousness ideas and literally create the realities we desire, and to understand we do create our own reality and all that jazz. And so I just think it's really funny about the 777, because that has very specific synchronicities for Dave and I as well. And that'll be, we were going to share that as well too. But that is the date we first met on a video chat was on 7/7. And so that whole idea too is the whole lucky sevens has always been very prominent and with us as well, as with many people. And I've had my YouTube channel for 7 years, and boy, starting that was also not having any idea where any of that was going to go. And I could never have imagined being as blessed as I am to have all of you in my life, and Dave. And that is how I know that if I wouldn't have started that channel scared, we would have never met. It's just that is how these things happen. So I wanted to share that little bit with all of you as well, that this is a very special day and month for us, and we really had no idea where we were going, and we left it all behind and made some major changes in our lives, and there were other people in our lives that we love and were under consideration as well. And so it was a very topsy-turvy time for us, and it is very hard to believe sometimes that we've only been here for 7 months, and that it was a year ago that we started that journey. So I could have never really imagined, although I have to say it was our desire. It became our desire, and our belief systems and all of the belief systems that were not serving us. And I don't like using the word let go anymore, because it's about embracing them. It's about embracing all of these belief systems that we have, and understanding that by embracing them, we understand that it's a part of us, and yet it's a choice, and yet it's also a choice that we also know that we don't have to focus there either. This is also a first for me. I want to say to, as I'm looking at this little apple here, this is for you, Mom. My mom gave this to me, and if she only really knew when she gave this to me, this beautiful crystal apple, and it's got hexagons. It's so beautiful, and if she only knew the synchronicities and the idea of the apple, and giving the apple to the teacher and the teachers of the teachers, and that had been something that I had been teaching and for a long time, and so it means a lot to me. And my mom has just recently transitioned into non-physical reality, so I'm experiencing that roller coaster of emotions, and it was just 2 weeks ago, if that. And so this is also a tribute to her and to all of us in our broadening of our understanding that really life continues, that we are always, we are forever, we exist, we always will exist, and learning to open our minds and our hearts to that, because that is also part of my highest joy, is opening all of us to opening up contact with ourselves, our higher selves, our, of course, star families, brothers, sisters, those of us who wish to engage and understand more of all of that, of who we are, what our stellar origins are. Dave and I share that on a sister channel, Open Contact TV, which we've only got a couple of videos on, and do hope to share more and more about taking not just light language and symbols and the things that I've been sharing over the last 7 years, but taking this new embracing this idea of opening up, literally opening up physical contact with our ET brothers and sisters, and so we're wanting to share more and more of that on that channel, and we've just actually, this is why I really haven't been doing videos. We've been so busy literally moving, and I'm still unpacking. Still not settled, still unpacking. So I want to thank all of you for your kindness, your love, your support through our journey, in your personal messages, all of the private sessions that I've had along the way with so many of you, and how all of you how you've reached out to us personally, and supporting our journey as well. So we're going through a lot of changes here as well, so Dave's no longer in the positions that he was in before, and in that world, at least not at the moment. So lots of transitions going on for us in a lot of ways. And I know that being in the number, this one day, this first day, and with so many things happening in our world, and all the transitions that all of us have been experiencing during this whole awakening process, and reevaluating, reviewing, rejuvenating, restoring. I so many people now who have completely reversed their belief systems, and their lives have changed as a result of the changes in those beliefs, of course, because that's how that works. So
well, we're in the age of transformation.
Absolutely. And it's been just such a huge transformation for us. And so that's why we've the videos have been short and lacking, and we've also had personal experiences. If you've been watching the last few videos, we put in a garden, which we'll probably do a different video. I don't know, maybe we will, maybe we won't, about that. But with the ups and downs of all of that as well. So our first experience with with a garden.
And I will give a full report on the rain barrels.
Oh yeah, we'll have to do that too.
They work, but it's hardly rained.
That's May 1st. Since I did that, I did just a very quick silent video on May 1st about when we were planting the garden, and from that day forward, I kid you not, it got hot. Like that day, it was in the 90s Fahrenheit. Ever since then, we have had very little trickles, very little, if any, rain in 2 months. It's unbelievable. So we're waiting to give a report about the rain barrels, but we had to wait till it rained to see if we could tell you how well they're working, and if they're working, and where we're going with all of that. So, but we'll do that in another video for you guys who are interested in that side of our higher dimensional consciousness life, about starting our new garden. So lots of little things to share with that, or not, actually. Or not, as the case may be.
So I also did want to also mention that we have been noticing lately a lot of people talking about their experiences in dream state with open contact.
Yes. Oh my God.
And higher dimensional beings involved with their dreaming and all that other stuff. And
hybrid children visiting with their hybrid children in their dream state. So it's exploding.
A lot of that stuff. And I would like to also just mention that last night I had an interesting dream also, involving the at least the Greys, the Zetas, and my dream. What I actually remember from the dream itself was not that extensive, but of course, if you connect to the energy of the dream and you get back some more memories a lot of times after you wake up when you think about it. But I did want to mention that I have noticed from a lot of different sources people talking about that kind of thing. And that's sort of one of the things that we're going to want to talk a little bit more about on our Open Contact TV channel. But the idea is more people are having them and sharing them on different social media and different YouTube channels and so forth. And of course, increased levels of UFO type sightings. So all of these things are indicators of moving to a higher reality where these things are becoming more and more normal.
Well, and the more we share them, the more we activate each other, the more...
Exactly. So, essentially, the way that we demonstrate that we're interested in moving to a reality that includes those types of things, we have to demonstrate that we're interested in it and that we're willing to share it, and we don't want to hide the fact that we're having these experiences. And things like a UFO sighting. Is it really a UFO or not? It really doesn't matter because it's the awareness that these kinds of things actually do exist. And maybe you saw one, maybe you didn't. Typically, if you saw one, you would know. There wouldn't be a question. But remember, you create your own reality. So, literally, you might have an experience where you're seeing a UFO, and the person next to you just sees a light. Or might not see anything at all. But sharing and talking about it and being open about it is creating your reality where you're accepting of these things and you're desirous of these things, and that forms the reality around you, which creates the reality that we all get to experience as we move into the reality that we prefer to be in. That's assuming you prefer to be in that, because you could choose anyone that you want.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that we're learning more and more every day is that if we truly begin to understand how multidimensional we actually are, it changes it. I, just like everyone else, and it seems especially the last month, especially this last 6 months, that whatever we want to call if everything has come to the surface, that's and literally identifying, and again, I will say once again, embracing. Instead of, my guides have been really emphasizing the idea of the more you think you have to let go of something, the more resistance it creates, and the more resistance it creates, the further away it pushes you from the thing that you actually desire. And the idea of allowing yourself to understand and embrace, yeah, I've got a negative belief about this. I feel unworthy. I feel not good enough. I feel any of the gamut of things that we're feeling that are less than empowering, once we whittle it down, we start asking ourselves, what is it that I'm really feeling now here? And we begin to understand that from that future self perspective, they simply don't make sense. They just become so illogical that the idea of just embracing it and saying, yeah, I've got that, and yet now I know I can make it a choice to look at it or not look at it. And it's funny because as I was starting to open up the card decks today, and I wanted to share just a couple of these with you really quick here, I have to say, as you know, and you guys know if you've been watching how much I love synchronicity. And so I've got my little Teachers of Teachers apple here. And so I open up the Angels, Gods, and Goddesses deck and literally turn it over, and the very first card, I'll show you the photo first. Angel of Healing. The angels have felt your sadness and have shown up today to send you healing. And I have been extremely sad, and I don't want to say of course, because not everyone has the same experience when those that we love transition, and yet I am also human and go through the same probably normal human emotions that everyone else does, in spite of the fact that I understand that life goes on and that I can still hear her and talk to her. And yet this is one of the things, the beliefs that we are exploring together as humans, is understanding what's the veil, what does it mean, are there, to understand our interaction with non-physical beings. And so I just couldn't even believe that the angels have felt your sadness. And so, and Dave and I often say, because of a little saying that we received on a bag, a little gift bag that this card deck came in, that says angels will always help. And so I've really been feeling their presence. My connection with the angels really had a lot to do with my mom, and she's given me lots of different angels figures over the years. And so, but it was very comforting to be reminded that my angels are here with me during my sadness, and to remind us that oftentimes that overwhelming sadness that we feel is really it's them connecting with us, and it's this huge amount of love that we don't really know and understand how to interpret, and really that's a lot of that once you wipe away what you think are the reasons for the sadness, you begin to understand really it's a divine connection, and that makes it so much more beautiful. So for any of you who, as so many are transitioning now, as the roads are splitting, as they say, the tracks are splitting, that there's so many that are transitioning now, that so if there's any of you out there who are going through that same thing, and it doesn't matter what it is in your life or who it is, whether it's or what the relationship it was, whether it's human or animal or otherwise, so it's remembering that we always have that divine connection with our angels, and that was where my connections first began, were with my angels, and the first entities to connect with me were angels and the Elohim and the emissaries of the Light Collective, of which they explained that they were a part of that, and that the many fractals of me, like this apple, and all of the beautiful fractals that each and every one of us are, and we're all pausing. Are we reconnected? Mm-hmm. We seem to be having some pauses going on here. Maybe the energies are too strong. And
yeah, we had an interesting thing happen earlier today.
Oh, which thing? I forgot.
with internet and the phone.
Oh yeah, that was
our
really
internet
weird.
shut off for a few moments.
It was really
But
strange.
not only did our wired internet shut off, but our cell service shut off.
It was really strange.
It was like for a minute or two.
And it wasn't long, but it was like, it was just,
Like
it was,
every communication shut
we're
down.
completely, yeah, so, anyway.
Navigating through realities.
We talk about that, not really joke about that. We talk about that one of the ways that our ET friends would probably be easiest to connect with all of us would certainly be through our computer systems and television, radio, and so forth.
So I'm guessing you could hear us now, okay. I'm monitoring on my phone,
Okay.
and also
Hi, everybody.
any messages that you may have. And this is a live broadcast, so we could talk back and forth through the YouTube chat. So if you want to share anything, if you have any questions for Wendy or myself, feel free to ask, and I'm watching, and I will relay to Wendy. The messages also do pop up on the screen. And an interesting thing with YouTube, and it happens when we do Zoom too, there's a 3 or 4 second delay sometimes between what we are broadcasting and what happens on YouTube. So
It is kind of strange sometimes.
you're seeing us a couple seconds after we've already done it. So then it takes a little bit of time
to catch up.
see your message, and then by the time I tell Wendy, what your message might be, it's now like it might be 5 or 10 seconds later total before you get to respond. So
we'll make sure I respond.
Yeah. So when you're doing a Zoom session and doing a live and people are in Zoom with you, it's actually live. There's no delay.
Right.
The Zoom sessions that are put on YouTube live also, the YouTube version of it, there's a several second delay. At least. But we're not using Zoom today. We're just using YouTube live. But it's not exactly live. There is a little bit of a delay. So it's sort of funny because I look at my screen to see if anybody said anything, and it's like a couple seconds ago on the video.
So sorry about that, you guys.
I was just scratching my head, but I don't see it at all on the video. Oh, there it is.
And the next thing, and it's funny because the next card in the same deck is Angel of Expression. Speak your truth and express yourself clearly. And I really do believe this is a message also from my mom, because when we are not expressing ourselves clearly and truthfully, truthfully meaning truly to our heart, from our heart, we create resistance, and resistance creates lack of ease within ourselves. We don't feel at peace. We don't feel balanced, which creates disease. And my mom will be the first to tell you about not expressing herself and the creation of disease. And so, that is the turn of events when we do not express ourselves. That lack of expressing ourselves. Even Bashar has mentioned this, actually, that Bashar is the entity from S. Asani, channeled through Daryl Anka, Bashar.org. Even he has said, if you don't express yourself, that is one of the things that we need to survive here as humans. Otherwise, we wither away, and that's what happens. And so, if maybe this message for new beginnings and this new month for all of you who are listening is that, where are you being asked more fully from your heart, your higher self, to speak your truth and express yourself more clearly, and how it may be expressing itself, the resistance, how is it expressing itself? And how is it showing you? It's just a compass. It's just a compass to show you how is it expressing itself. And it's just to get your awareness that something's out of line, that you're not living, speaking, acting your truth. And again, we hear these messages over and over and over again from channelers and readers, and yet if you're hearing it now, it's because you need it right now, and maybe you're not paying attention. And I know I do, as I've mentioned before, I do readings for us all the time, and I know when I need that smacking, the metaphorical head, so to speak, to hear that and to remind ourselves that angel of joyfulness, something wondrous and magical is about to happen. Once you begin to express yourself more freely, I love the colors in these decks too, this particular deck. Once we begin to express our joyfulness, we begin to far more easily, and I know this just from meeting Dave and our relationship, that once I began to actually express myself joyfully, express myself, my truth, then I could express myself more joyfully, and allow that joy to feed upon itself. And so I wanted to share that with you as well, that and those three cards just came, they were right in order. So, and what's also interesting is, that as I open this deck, again, I love synchronicities, Sacred Rebels, because I feel kind of like this is here in America, it's our Independence Day weekend, the 4th of July. And so I was feeling a little bit like that rebellious spirit, and this whole idea of rebellion is really expressing yourself. It's really just saying, this is what I prefer, and I'm not, and I think we're all realizing that rebellion is really just speaking our truth, not fighting against something, but literally walking toward and on our path. So so it's interesting too, the next two cards in this is on the Rebel deck, is the number 7.
I'm touching something.
I know, I think I have a spot on my screen.
No, I just wanted to see.
Oh, okay. Number 7. So here we are, the first day of the 7th month, and maybe it's the second day for some of you already, if you're watching this from across the world. And so the legacy of light. And immediately, once again, I'm reminded of, and in this vision, it is the child, what our inner child, the who we were as a child, who we are now, and what our future self becomes. What is our legacy of light? And interesting that it also happens to be number 7. So of course that's very prevalent, of course, in every day this month. So pay attention to those 7s. Pay attention to when we see the rhythms of these numbers and the numerology, and because we create this stuff for ourselves, the numbers, the dates, and time itself. So we create all this stuff. So it's for us to use this permission to explore more and more of all that we are. And so I'm hearing, at first when I saw this card, Legacy of Light, is what is your legacy of your light? What is the legacy of your light? And I thought about that too, of in my own mother's passing and transitioning, I should say, and that, what is the legacy of the light there, and what light did I glean from this experience, and our experience together, and what is my legacy from child to now to my future self? What is my future self telling me? What is my inner child telling me? And what can we tell our child now, from this perspective? What can we tell that child? That what wondrous things that child is going to be capable of, and reminding ourselves too in our own children, and the teaching from here forward, the teachers of the teachers, and the children moving forward, teaching our children, the new children, what is your legacy of light? What light that you shine the brightest becomes your personal legacy, your personal journey, your personal experience. As each and every single ever being has a beautiful experience to share with all that is. And what is because we are light, you are light, everything's created from light. So what is your path of light? What is the legacy that you'd like to leave behind? And it doesn't mean doing something grandeur or anything like that. It's just what do you choose in moment by moment? And when we're not choosing, and this goes for me too, when I'm not choosing non-resistance, how is that affecting my legacy of light? And so I just thought that was very interesting and very synchronistic as well. And and the card right behind it. I'm going to show you the back of these cards too, because I love the backs of these. They're very, very, very. They tell a lot of stories. They've got a lot going on. And I could probably put it a little bit closer for you. And it's very interesting.
43.
I know. And this is the funny thing about it was the card right before it, number 7, the card right after it, number 43, which of course equals 7, come to life. So, come to life. Where are you being asked to come to life? I love this deck, the depth and the intimacy and I love the images in these cards. And there's the monkey with the honey, and well, actually it's really henna. She's painting her leg, but it sort of looks a lot like honey. And the bird sitting on her shoulder, and she's
and by the way,
and the butterflies.
We did not buy a bird.
Oh,
we did not adopt a bird. If you're wondering what
you're hearing, the bird is,
that's our.
Well, it's our resident
friend outside.
I forget what kind of bird it is, if we've even figured it out. But that's the second brood in there. So we don't have we feel kind of honored. I don't know that she's there nesting. So speaking of come to life, so yeah, there's already a brood of baby birds in there. So, but what is speaking of birds, there's a bird on her shoulder there. What is it that makes you come to life? What is it that is your legacy of light? What is it that you want to come to life, bring to life? And again, a number 7. What is it that you want to paint? What creation do you want to paint for yourself? And and I literally have been asking myself and Dave this question even the last few days. What is it that that I really want to create? So I too am always exploring and excited about new things and doing things that scare me and moving through all of those beliefs that whatever they may be.
With the idea that you create your own reality, literally and in every detail, getting to experience all the reality that you are in fact creating allows you the opportunity to decide really what you prefer and what you don't prefer. And I've felt for quite a long time now that if something that you don't prefer shows its face, it's there to give you the opportunity to consciously decide what you want to be creating for your reality, because you're unknowingly creating the reality, and maybe more accurately, participating in a version of the reality that contains those things that it seems like you don't prefer. So by becoming aware of these things, you then come into the category of being a conscious creator, because, like it or not, you're now aware that you're choosing the reality that you're in. Now understand that you get to choose all of it, and it's really just a matter of figuring out what vibration you want to be in to manifest, which it really just means go to the version of reality that exists that matches your frequency.
That matches your current frequency. And now we want to do it consciously, not just move there unconsciously. So any comments or questions?
Well, Cynthia, I think, is the only one hanging out with us right at the moment.
Hey, Cynthia.
And she said hello.
Hey.
So nice to connect with you.
Hey, girl.
She says you're bubbling over there. is Cynthia? Do you have a?
And I think of you all the time, like every day. I swear to God, girl. I swear to God.
You want us to pick a card for you?
Oh, I totally will. And well, since you're hanging out there, here, I couldn't even believe this too. So we've got the Come to Life, 19. Breathe. These are just all in order. Dream a beautiful dream. And 14, so we've got 2 7s going on there. Going beyond normal. So dream that beautiful dream, come to life, create your legacy of light by going beyond the normal. I love this too. See, the golden light bulb, I love that. And the purple aura, the violet light. Talk about a goddess. That's an awesome goddess energy. And funny. So, dream a beautiful dream. Collaborative dreaming. So that was kind of funny too, because somebody else had posted today. I was thinking about collaborative dreaming and how sometimes I swear I think we're having the same dream. But I was thinking about the person that posted today that last night they had a dream about an ET encounter, and so did Dave. And so I think about that, made me think about the collaborative dreaming. And then there's the other side of the collaborative dreaming is how can we as a humanity collaboratively dreaming to, one, wake up in the dream, but to dream the reality that we all prefer. You know, how can we collaboratively create that reality?
Cynthia says, totally beyond normal, no fear.
Exactly. Oh, this is a good one now. Here you go. Follow your own rhythm. I love this deck. I just love the images, just the sensuality of them. Follow your own rhythm. That's how. That's how. By your own inspiration. What inspires you? Follow your own rhythm. Your inspiration. What is your inspiration? And there was another thing that Bashar said and we've talked about this before. If it excites you, that you're automatically going to be good at it because it excites you. It's who you are. It's who you're meant to be. What inspires you? And how can we create our legacy of light by being an inspiration to others? And all that means, all being an inspiration to others is just being you. The most inspiring people to us are the ones who actually are themselves, that are being themselves. Those are the ones, aren't they the ones that inspire us the most, who go, God, I wish I was doing that. Like, and not the thing that they're doing, but the way that they're doing it. They're going by their own rhythm. They're creating their own dream. And by doing that, you guys, that becomes our collaborative dream. You share your highest joy. I share my highest joy. That is the collaborative dream. And by doing that, then we make magic happen together. We create that reality. We're going beyond that normal. But it has to happen by following your own rhythm. And so, and another number 7, 34, in the world, not of the world. We are in this world, but we are not of this world. We are having an experience
The
in
world
this
is in
world.
us.
Absolutely. The creation, the world, everything we see, it's all within us. Within us.
Cynthia says, living through our essence, pure joy.
Pure joy. And it flashes up here, the comment really quick. So if I can read it quick enough. And okay, here we are, July 1st. Okay, you guys see, you just can't make this shit up. After the storm, number 1, the wisdom. The owl, the wisdom, the Merkaba. We were just talking about this too the other day. The carrying that golden wisdom after the storm, and the Merkaba is our life force, and the wisdom that we gain from after the storm, and carrying that with us, that golden Merkaba, that energy, that thing that drives us. So all of this message, one after the other, is a collective message for all of us who are experience this reading today. And it's very interesting too that, as I actually mentioned too, that many of you maybe already tomorrow, meaning the 2nd of July, but this Queen of the Moon Oracle. So we've been doing a lot of, as we mentioned before, going by the Farmer's Almanac, and which goes by the planting guide for the moon cycles, by the moon cycles. So we've been very aware of the moon cycles and the planting guides and so forth. So, and I, normally I would have done a video, but I just didn't get to it. And it was recently the full moon in Sagittarius. So as we look at astrological signs, if that kind of thing excites you, my astrological sign is Sagittarius. That was my full moon in Sagittarius. And I'll tell you what, the energy kicked my butt. I mean, it was just like, it was so intense. And I remember wanting to do a video that day. And I remember so many other things. It was just so intense. And so anyway, so I was being Goddess Friday. I just happened to pick up the Queen of the Moon Oracle, and as soon as I opened it, the very first card is the full moon beginnings. So here we are at the beginning of July. It is the number 2, but beginnings. And funny that this is an archway. And we've been talking, Dave and I have been talking a lot about arches and canopies and things. And it's very interesting too, because you'll see that there, if you go through the archway, it's green, but around it is the multidimensional, that what we create above is so below. And seeing that new beginning, and actually it's also snowing in the background, so you've got it's kind of interesting the contrast with the beginnings, because there's snow for the beginning, like of winter, and actually it's of course winter. This is actually that's really cool too, because it's actually just the beginning of summer here in the northern hemisphere and winter in the southern hemisphere. So new beginnings for all of us. I think that's a beautiful collective message for all of us as well, that this is a new beginning. And well, the next card in line, gratitude. And expressing our gratitude for each other, our gratitude for our gifts. And I am very guilty of taking my own gifts for granted and not being grateful for the things that I have to share, and thinking that all of the things that we humans think that are less than empowering thoughts, I have them too, just like everyone else. And it really does stem from lack of gratitude for who you are and walking your own rhythm, all of the things that we explored in the last batch of cards, following your own dream, going beyond the normal, all of those things that I think sometimes we're afraid. I think sometimes I'm afraid to be grateful for. I told Dave that too. I said, maybe this is, I said, sometimes I think I'm afraid to follow my highest joy and excitement because I probably wouldn't do anything else that needed to be done. But we know that it doesn't work that way, because when you're following your highest joy, everything is perfectly orchestrated and everything gets done exactly when and how and if it needs to. So, and I often fall out of grace and gratitude when I don't recognize that it's okay to follow my highest joy and allow just allow everything to fall into place, and let get done what gets done, and what doesn't, and some things, as we know, never need to. But a lot of that is stemming from, I'm not happy with this moment right now, so I can't see my own gifts. I can't see my own beauty when I'm not in gratitude, and when I'm putting myself down, or all of the things that some of the things I've said to myself over the last few days about things I wish I was doing a better job at. So yeah, there's that. But that's the thing about teachers of teachers, you guys, is that's what makes us the best teachers of the teachers, is because we're experiencing it, we're sharing those experiences, and by sharing those experiences, we empower each other. And by empowering each other, we become grateful for ourselves, to ourselves, and grateful to each other. And Cynthia, I am so grateful to you. Very, very grateful that you are in my life. And the next card in this deck, and here's the back of the moon deck. Next one in that batch is number 33, blossoming. All of us are blossoming. We are, as we show our true colors and speak our divine truth, we all blossom, just like the apple blossoms. And how beautiful we are when we blossom. Funny that, and flowers is another thing that we've been talking about too, a lot about flowers around here too, so.
One moment.
Yes. And we should probably wrap it up here soon, so let's see. One of the things that, we'll go from one extreme to the other here. My glasses are fogging up. It's all that high energy. Excuse me. I've been talking too much. So this is kind of fun and new for us to just go. I know we've done plenty of live things. It's just doing like an impromptu live thing. I don't know. I guess that once you've already started, I guess it doesn't matter. Oh, are you okay, never mind. Yeah. I think he's evacuating an insect. Can't see what I'm doing here. Okay. And I probably should have put the hourglass on, so I keep track of my
Well, it says an hour and 4 minutes.
Oh, have we really been an hour? Oh my gosh. See what I mean, you guys? And see now my glasses are fogging up because I'm telling you, I get so full of energy and I get so excited. It's like, ooh, I literally fog up my own glasses. Let's see any. That's so funny. Oh, hey, who's there? Oh. Oh, okay. So this deck, and in the spirit of firsts and beginnings, this is the deck I've shared a couple of times, the Angel Answers deck. And this is a deck that Dave and I received when he and I did our first reading with with another reader in Florida when we first met. And when I very first arrived in Florida, I had just gotten there. And so we met Sammy, the reader. Oh, I love her so much. Oh my God, I think about her all the time. So Sammy, if you're out there, yeah, we think of you all the time. Never forget you. So we bought this deck of cards there at her little stand, and we had a reading, and it was a really amazing reading. And the thing I remember most, and I'm sure Dave does too. I think that's probably the only thing I remember about the whole reading was she said, "Share everything. Share everything." Weren't those her words?
And that was something we discussed.
Has been chock full of fun.
I don't know why she said that. So okay, Lexi just said something about that was chock full of fun. I have no idea why she said that. That was hilarious. See, nothing's real. So one of the things that Dave and I like about this deck, and I was gonna, well, anyway.
What I was gonna say was.
Oh, yes.
The share everything.
Oh, and then I'm like, are you sure?
One of the first things that I said to you.
It was, and actually that was kind of like the sort of basis of our relationship was that how important it was that we share everything, that I share everything, that I feel comfortable sharing everything and anything that I wish to share. And so and I laugh about that sometimes too, because when you're not in the highest vibration, sometimes sharing is not the best idea. But then we can actually kind of joke about that too. At the time, I'm like, "Are you sure you want me to share right now?" But feeling that ability to literally, as the card said earlier, to just be yourself, and to be able to completely express myself allows me to not be in fear that that for all the things that we fear, which are also not real. I'm going to be alone. I am alone. I'm going to be rejected. I'm not going to be loved. I'm not going to be accepted. I'm going to end up alone. All those things that we tell ourselves. So in those moments of doubt and doubting ourselves, that's really what we're saying. Is we're identifying, and that's all it is. Again, be gentle on ourselves. We're just identifying the belief. That's all, and that's good. It's really good. So Dave gets to help me identify lots of my beliefs. Which is a good thing.
And when he gets to tell me which beliefs I should have.
I do not do that. That I don't do. But he does like to say yes, dear.
We do it together.
He does like to say yes.
It goes both ways.
But it is funny though that
we reflect each other.
We do share pretty much everything. So I have to say, well, let's see what flipped over. Okay, so the interesting part about this deck is if you've got a specific question in mind, for example, something going on in your life, I can ask it very specific questions, and a lot like my pendulum, you get very specific answers. So this deck is very direct. And I didn't actually myself even ask a question before I pulled the card, other than, what message do we all need to hear right now? So whatever our burning question is right now, any of us, the answer that just popped up was within the next few months. So if there's something you've been asking yourself, or now again, Also, the one thing that we also joke about and like about creating your own reality and moving through billions of parallel realities moment by moment and all that stuff is that if you don't like the answer, you get to change it. And that's really true for any reading of any kind of from anyone. The idea is that does it resonate or doesn't it? Does it pull any, does it trigger something? Does it identify something? So oftentimes, so for example, if you've been wondering about something and been pondering something, perhaps the answer for you is within the next few months.
But that is the answer given
today,
your
current vibration.
Yeah. You get to choose. Every moment. Do you want it to be this answer?
Because any of these cards we could choose. Do we want to be in gratitude or not be in gratitude? Do we want to gain knowledge after the storm? Do we want to follow our own rhythm? That we get to choose the meaning of the card. How is it resonating with you? Does that mean that is that confirming that you're following your own path, your own rhythm? Or is this telling you you should be and you're not? We can read these any way we choose. It's how does it apply to you today? So, same thing with that within the next few months. How does that apply to you today? Is that the answer you were looking for? What is it trigger in you?
And a perfect example would be, I'll use a really common example. I hate my job. I want to quit. I want to find something new. And this applies to many, many people, and it's typically a very common kind
especially
of
now.
Topic. And as we're going through the age of transformation, and as the energies are increasing and increasing, the things that are not in your highest alignment are going to pop out at you and make it very clear. So, one of the things that you've been thinking about is quitting your job,
right,
or finding a different job, and you're not sure what to do. Well, the answer might be in your current energy, a couple months. Give it a couple months for things to align. So what that means is the state that you're in now, you have a belief that says it's going to take a couple months for things to start to pan out. You can say, I don't want to wait a couple months. The card is giving you the option of changing your energy to say, why not now?
Well, and it could also be, as I'm also hearing that oftentimes we want to make, and I experience this with our moving situation quite often, where I want what I want and I want it now. And our guidance is our guidance is always going to be, it's always going to come to you in perfect timing. That's always going to be the right answer. And sometimes maybe we want to make a decision that's coming from a place of a lower vibration, and the energies and your angels and your guides are saying, just wait a couple months because there's some magic coming around the corner. And would you believe the next card was wait? So maybe you are being asked to wait a few months for something, and and to let it unfold and not be impatient.
So you're never going to get anything until you're ready to have it, and you're ready to have it when you are in the frequency of having it. As we travel down the hallway of our experience, things are planned to happen in a certain sequence of events, so we could experience it as a sequence of events. In non-physical reality, there is no real sequence. You could experience sequences, but there doesn't need to be the sequences. So this is an opportunity, being in physical reality, to appreciate the sequences of events.
Yes.
And the synchronicities that bring you those sequences of events, and to notice them and appreciate them.
And that's why we're here, is for sequence of events and to experience linearity. And
so the idea is miracles happen all the time, and everything that's happening is a miracle. Wouldn't it be cool to be able to see the miracle unfold in slow motion? And that is what we're here.
That's what we're here
do.
for. Yep. And so I'm not sure how this message that you will need to receive this message. And sometimes even the next day, the message has a completely different meaning.
And Cynthia says, divine right timing always.
Always, absolutely, always. And that is, and I've shared that in our journey from the last year, and all the times that I thought was wrong, and we still, hey, and I even look around the house, and there's things that need to be done here that are some pretty kind of somewhat major projects. And you just look around, and I said, you know what? It's all going to happen in perfect timing, the way it's supposed to happen, because if I'm going to force it, it's going to be resistant. It's not going to, and I know this from some of the other projects we've done, that there was resistance in that we wanted to do it right away. We wanted to get it done right away. And by not waiting, it created even more resistance. And so I know now it's all going to happen in perfect timing, the way it needs to, how it needs to, even if it does not appear that way to me today. So, and I understand that. And I even wrestle with my own beliefs with that, because then the next moment I could be like totally pissed off about the same damn thing I just got done accepting. It's like, it's like, wait a minute. I was okay with this being unfolding, and it's all perfect timing just a minute ago, and now what just happened to me? It's like
and we have a couple people here watching, and I just wanted to remind again that this is live, as you know, and we welcome your messages on the YouTube chat. So I'm watching them. They pop up on the screen for a second on the screen
really quick.
That we're actually doing the video on. But if you have any questions, if you have a comment to make, if you have anything you want to share, we're watching. And you're more than welcome to do so. Or just say hi, let us know who you are. I don't know if there's any way for us to know who's actually here in the room with us. So
well, not really, unless you're commenting. So hi, everybody. Oops. And oh, look at this. Okay. And there's abundance if you believe. So, if we can believe in ourselves, believe in the perfect timing, believe that sometimes waiting, the magic is in the delay. And that has actually happened to us more than once. So that I do know as well. And to remind ourselves, once again, to ask for help from others. Sometimes we're guided to say, sign up for something, or we're guided to go someplace, and we get nervous because it's out of our comfort zone, and we're struggling with something, and for whatever reason. I mean, the obvious stuff, ask for help from others, but that also means from others, other parts of you, other fractals of you, ask for help from the angels, ask for help from others, maybe that you would have never asked somebody or even considered asking for help from this particular person, but something's urging you to do so, and maybe the very reasons that you're hesitating are the belief systems you need to take a look at. And sometimes asking somebody for help, and it's interesting because it is really funny how, as we're told, follow your highest joy and excitement without any expectation, meaning go do that thing that you want to do, and even if it has nothing to do with the thing you think you're supposed to be doing, like whatever, understand that you don't know necessarily how they're connected. And even like the thing I was thinking about specifically was our neighbor, and that helping us out with some things with the garden, but it also turned out that just by him doing that, and getting help from asking for help from others, we were able to find out that he and Dave had a lot of things in common, job related and personal related. So it was very, very interesting how that, the lending of a rototiller, could lead to something completely non-related. So very interesting. So I think I'm feeling, oh, and don't stop believing. I know how corny that is. It made me think of the song too. Journey. Don't stop believing, right? But don't stop even when we're getting the idea to hold off on a decision. Don't stop the momentum though. Don't think, well, okay, I there's nothing I can do. What can you do to take another step in a new direction, or even in the same direction?
Brianna.
No. Hey, Brianna.
Hi, you too.
Hey, girl. How are you? Mwah. Where have you been? So don't stop. She's funny. Well, that's funny. Well, see, there's my girl. Now, if any of you guys have been watching me for a while, you know Bree. Bree brought me to Dave, too.
I owe her everything.
Yeah, both times, actually.
Yep.
So, yeah, both times. She brought me to Dave both times. The first time and the last time. Anyway, hey girl, how you doing? She's been so busy. We have not had any time to connect. And yes, as a matter of fact, maybe I'll start saying that out loud. Dave and I've been talking a lot about getting the house ready and having space and doing events, and we've been thinking about it, just toying with it, not sure when or how or what, all those things. But if we wanted to do another public light language event, what would we do? Where would we do it? How would we go about it? That kind of thing. So it was for any of you who are new to my channel, talk about going my own rhythm and going out of my own comfort zone. But I did my very first light language public event at a beautiful hotel, big beautiful venue in Florida, and Bree did it with me, and so it was quite an experience for us. And that was where I actually met Dave for the first time in person, and so and he saved the day with the live stream, and so it was just all just kind of a magical unfoldment, really. And so it was so nice that
and the collective group literally made it rain in the hotel.
It was something, you guys. It was it was quite the thing. It was yes, quite the experience. The Water Collective, indeed. It was actually kind of funny, even though it was a comedy of errors. It certainly turned out to be a very enlightening and beautiful experience, which I recall often and will never forget. And so yeah, it was pretty great. So yes, love you, girl. And we've done lots and lots of live stuff together. We used to do Wednesdays with Wendy, and
So it's great to see you both.
All kinds of things
And,
we did.
And yeah, she delivered a Wendy.
Yes. So yes, she did. So yeah, so that's been a huge part of our journey as well, and Bree's been there all along with me as well in many of the years that I've been doing videos and live events. And so hopefully maybe one of these days our schedules will be able to connect again, and maybe she and I will be able to do something live once in a while, or even just once again. That would be fun. And now a lot of people still ask about her and ask how she's doing, and when we're going to do something again. And so, and I know a lot of you have asked about Goddess Fridays and when Dave and I are going to do something live again. And honestly, we just haven't been able to pinpoint ourselves to stick to a specific, repeating day and time. And but we're getting there. We're getting really close. And so we're actually thinking about resurrecting Goddess Fridays again too, and deciding, what time of day and stuff. And we're actually talking, Bree, just today. Just today we were talking about Wednesdays with Wendy again, and whether we wanted to do that or do something new, or so anyway.
And I always ask, should we ask Bree if she wants to participate?
Always.
And what time might be good for her?
Always. So. But she's got a
who knows?
She's got a very erratic schedule, and we never can pinpoint each other down. So, but anyway, that's okay too. And glad you popped in to say hi. I'm really happy to always see and feel your energy, of course. And so yeah, if you're new to the channel and kind of peruse, I know I have a lot of videos and our events. That's why I was joking earlier about our highest joy and excitement, because this is what Bree and I used to do too. I mean, my God, it would just go on for hours because we were having so much fun. And so yeah, there's so many exciting things that we like to do, and then I find myself just talking about all these other things, and it's like, oh my God, we didn't do any channeling. Oh my God, we didn't do any light languages.
Well, speaking of light language, let me just...
So we should do that, and we should get off the air.
I'm going to put a little plug in for Bree. So, of course, one of the things Wendy has been very successful at has been, I guess, what you would call a light language activator.
True that.
Now, when I met Wendy and Bree for the first time, I got to experience Bree share a modality that she came up with, however she came up with it. She saw it somewhere or heard it somewhere and made it her own. And it was a process of toning in certain ways that sort of, I would say, eliminated the resistance that you might have to allowing the light language to flow out of you. And I think it was awesome and great and very effective. And while I was already speaking light language myself, I know there were a number of people there that started speaking light language very shortly after. And of course, probably in combination of all the things happening. But her technique that she shared certainly let your inhibitions go. And when people are doing it in a group setting, it works even better because you're not like the only crazy person making all kinds of funny, weird noises. But I guess my message is, Bree, you shouldn't forget that you did that, and maybe you should be doing it more often.
I tell you.
And other things.
There was a lot of people who activated, their light languages were activated that weekend, and it was a very powerful, very exciting thing. So to be able to do that again, and whether, and we love doing this stuff, and I love doing it personally with people in sessions, and I love doing it live. And so, but that was a really powerful experience, and a lot of people were activated that weekend and were subsequently activated in the days following that light language event. So it really, really was an amazing event, and I'm very, very grateful to those that invited us there to participate in it. There was 3 of us that put it on, and it was just an amazing experience. So.
And Bree says, yeah, Katie came up with that method, toning with Biha mantras.
Oh, yeah.
That's how we activated
in
ourselves
Arkansas.
together in Hot Springs,
In Arkansas, yes. That's right. Yeah,
So
that's right.
So it turns out you could activate yourself. It's just intention.
That's
But it was a really effective and cool
yes.
process.
And it did. A lot of people, it really opened up their voices and literally their voices. So,
And
yeah.
at the same time, also sort of gets you in the practice of doing it in public with other people.
Yes,
Which is
exactly.
not a normal situation for many of us who are on this spiritual journey and are hiding in the closet watching YouTube videos
Yeah.
and so forth. When you're in a group setting.
Hey, I used to be one of those people that were, the closet YouTube watcher, watching these things and then being afraid that somebody might find out what I was watching, and being so afraid to speak light languages and so afraid to speak them on the air and so afraid to speak them in public. And now I just do it everywhere. I just, we don't really.
Well, it's very freeing to be able to walk around in public and speak light language, whatever happens to be coming out, and sometimes it's with some kind of intention in mind, but sometimes it just wants to come out and you say it. And we cheated a little bit because when we were in Florida, there were so many people speaking all kinds of weird languages, no one would even notice.
No one would have noticed.
Although there was a girl in a spiritual shop that asked
That's
specifically what it was.
Yeah.
But around here.
And then there was the voodoo shop. Literally, it said voodoo shop on the outside. And we were buying candles, and we went in, and she heard us talking or something, and asked about the language, and I said it was the language of, what did I say, the angels or something? And I said, would you like a blessing? And she was like, yes. And she was just like completely entranced.
And Bree says, thank you. It was awesome. And I will be doing it in group settings again soon. So.
I need to hear about that.
We need to be able to share that information.
Yes, we do.
So
when and where and how.
Yeah, Cynthia says, how about doing a group Zoom with activation?
Oh, that's another thing that I've been wanting to do, you guys, is, and so I'm glad that you mentioned that, Cynthia. I just told Dave that today. I said, I want to start doing some more group activations, just, on YouTube, or if you guys prefer. A lot of people don't really want to be on YouTube, and that's fine too. So Dave and I were actually talking about doing like, and I don't want to say private, like exclusive. I mean, anybody can be there, but private in that it's maybe not broadcast, and that because there's a lot of people that want to explore their light languages. They want to let things out. They want to be, more open and free to speak, and they don't want to be on YouTube. They don't necessarily, at least not right away. And so we've been thinking a lot about doing that as well, because of course that's something I do anyway in private sessions. And if you guys have like a group of you and you want to do a group private session, yes, absolutely. We just do a complete group activation. That's something that I've always, it's been on my, on my services, something I've been doing all the time anyway. But yeah, for people who want to get together and just to remind everybody, yeah, if you have a group of people and you want to get together and do light language activations. But yeah, we were talking about doing more of those in Zoom, whether they be live in public and also more closed in private, non-broadcast is what I mean.
So I guess we'll take this opportunity to mention that Wendy's website is below in the comments.
Yeah.
I guess I could do what everybody else does, below in the comments.
The description.
In the description. And find out more about Wendy and the things that she does and that we do. And certainly, if you're interested in getting in contact with Bree, drop Wendy a note and we can look you up.
Yep, you can reach Bree. And so, yeah. Yeah, it's been quite an interesting ride, and I've been curious to talk. Oh, and we're back. Yeah, so it's been, I don't know, the internet's been kind of weird, but But yeah, Bree, so if you're open to sharing what's, if you're going to be doing some light language stuff or light language related, or yeah, if you want to hang out and do some more light language stuff, that would be great. So it's getting late, you guys. We should get going here. And I really didn't want to wait till tomorrow because we really wanted to do it on the 1st. So to all of you, I apologize for the lateness of the live, and it was really we were literally going to go impromptu all day long, and it was just one thing after another. So I wanted to kind of close out with this fun Rebel deck, the Oracle with Attitude. I came across this deck and I had to check it out, and I've only shared it once before. So I thought tonight would be a good night too, because it's the 1st and it's fun and it's late and it's a little shall we say, I don't know, what's the word I want to, what do they say here? Rebel, okay, it says on here, brace yourself. Rebel deck messages are quick, dirty, and direct. We gave the ancient art of divination a modern makeover and added a little insult to insight. This deck is rebellious, foul-mouthed, and raw. Ask the cards what you need to know right now. These messages will tell it like it is, no interpretation needed. So, without further explanation, we'll just get right into it. So, and actually, I'm just gonna maybe here. I'll let Dave pick it here. And Dave, so he like Dave like never swears hardly ever. And then there's me. I'll read it. It's so funny. You're so shy. You're so funny. Okay. Believe what you see. Face reality or live in fucking La La Land. Choose bravely. What does this even mean? I have no idea.
Well, what it means is you get to choose.
you get to choose.
Would you prefer to be in La La Land or in a reality that you do not prefer?
There you go. Yeah, face reality or live in La La Land.
Well, because La La Land is typically the place that you really prefer to go,
you prefer
but don't
to
have the guts to be in.
Oh my God, my glasses are fogging up again. Oh my gosh. You are loved. You're here for a reason. Don't fuck it up. And that means go do something exciting, do something out of your comfort zone. Dance to your own rhythm. That's what that means. You are so loved by the universe. Don't mess it up by not being who you came to be. Your true, amazing, fabulous fucking self. What the hell are you waiting for? Get that shit done. If you're waiting for a sign, well, here the fuck it is.
So I will relay a little bit of what Bashar talks about in why you're worthy and why everyone is worthy. And by just being is proof of your worthiness. So the idea is all that has created a big gigantic puzzle of all that is, and each one of us is a piece of that puzzle. And the piece of the puzzle that we are,
very true,
is the perfect piece of puzzle that is needed to put the puzzle's pieces all together to represent all that is. So by being yourself, you are doing the most service to all by being the piece of puzzle that you were designed to be. That is Absolutely. Allowing the representation of all that is to be whole. And every piece of the puzzle is equally as important as the other piece, because without every single piece of the puzzle, there would not be all that is.
You know, he still has to remind me of this, even though I've been teaching this for years.
So when you wonder, how could I be worthy? Just by being is not enough to feel worthy.
Well, I'll tell you something, you guys, too, in all seriousness. Dave and I, we love our mornings, watching the birds and, and having our coffee. That is like the number one, like, highlight of waking up is, coffee and watching the birds. And the interesting thing that I'm reminded every single morning, and we've got the hummingbirds and as well as so many other different species, and have fun with the app, the Merlin app. It's called Merlin. If you guys aren't familiar with it, it's an app that you just turn it on and let it listen to the birds singing, and it'll tell you, it lists what birds they are. And so it's just a lot of fun because and most of the time you don't even realize all the different species that are around you. Anyway, but as I'm watching the birds and watching the hummingbird, and they're so cute, and and I'm talking to them, and if any of you have animals, pets, animal companions, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You look at them, and the unconditional love, like I laugh about how we are so excited about birds just being birds, and they're just being birds. And we're in love with them just being what they are and who they are and how they are. And even like one day, and I'll never forget that, in Florida when Dave and I are sitting, were we doing a video? I don't remember. No. Anyway, we were sitting in the office, and all of a sudden we were admiring this big green lizard that was on the wall right outside the window. And I kid you not, a bird came and took it right off and took it away. We were like, it was like, well, I wasn't expecting that, and we were just admiring.
It was only like for 2 seconds.
It was that quick, and
we were watching it for 2 seconds,
and it was gone. It was so. But the point is that I'm reminded that even at their most primal, I hear from whoever, my higher self, God, source, my guide, saying, that's how much we love you. We love you so unconditionally that there's nothing that you look outside the bird, there's nothing, it can do no wrong. Even our pets, no matter what horrific things they do, the unconditional love that we give and receive, and how we admire these beautiful creatures, and yet we don't understand that's how Source feels about us. This feeling of, it doesn't matter what you do. It's a bird being a bird. You're a human being a human, and we love you. It doesn't matter. We understand your struggles. We see what goes on, and we watch the birds and the things that they're doing, and they're fighting and this and that and the other, and yet we see the perfectness of them all, and how we just want to touch them and love them. And that's how our guides and Source feels about us, and that's how those who transition feel about us. There's no more judgment or anger or animosity or anything there's nothing left but love. That's because that's what it all is. And I think that when somebody transitions, we experience that too, that all of those emotions and things are really just all different forms of love. And so they're,
we heard Abraham today in something, I'm pretty sure it was today that we were listening to, the idea that you might see someone as an asshole, but your higher self doesn't. And of course, Source and all that is in God doesn't look at that person like they're an asshole. It's only us looking at it like they're an asshole.
And I'm seeing a huge demonstration of that in my own life with my mother's passing, and exactly, just seeing another person, and seeing that it didn't matter what happened. It's feeling the empathy for another human being right now, and seeing them as in God's eyes, as being perfect human beings, regardless of what's happened or the circumstances. And so there's a lot more that we can get involved in that and say about it. But of course, this is why one of the reasons I got the hourglass, because what are we going on, like 2 hours here? So
we'll end we'll end with a thought about that. Everyone could think about it how they wish. But if you don't like someone, or you think someone's not treating you nicely, the reason why you don't like them, or you think they're a jerk, is because you have beliefs that are making you think that are not in alignment with your higher self, who doesn't think that at all. And because there's a discrepancy between your beliefs and your higher self's beliefs, and you could say God's beliefs, because your higher self is a piece of God also, a piece of all that is, that sees things more in his eyes. But it could also just be your future self.
Yeah.
So your future self sees things in a certain loving way. You're not in agreement
Yes.
with that. And that's the reason why you feel like that person is not a nice person is only because you have some kind of belief system that is convincing you that that person is not a nice person. And if you change your perspective on the situation, you might not come to the conclusion that the guy is really a nice guy after all, but you could find a perspective
right,
that respects his expression in the way that he's doing it, and not feel a negative way toward him, because your higher self, your future versions of you, they're not going to see things in a negative way.
Nope.
They're always going to look at things in a positive way. And if you're looking at anything in a negative way, the feelings that you have stemming from that are just telling you there's a disagreement in the way you're perceiving things.
Well, and I was just reminded too, that's why I kind of chuckled, because my guides are just now reminding me too that goes for ourselves too. Everything he said, if you apply everything apply everything he just said to yourself, it also applies to you. That we also have belief systems that we think we're assholes, we think we're stupid, we think we're no good, we think we're not worthy of forgiveness, or that we can't forgive, or that we're not worthy of love, or that all of those untrue things. Apply that to ourselves as well. So it's one of the things my mom has always said to me is, why are you so hard on yourself? Mm-hmm. Why are if you could see you through the eyes of others, you wouldn't see yourself the way you see yourself. So I know if I had to hear that and be reminded of that, then somebody else out there needs to hear that and be reminded of that as well. And I would like to also leave with a light language activation and blessing. So for all of you who are just in need of a message, or if you are having your own grief or need your own healing, if you are in need of answers, know that they are always asking, it is always given. Sorry, I hear things and I'm like, wait, what? It's like, wait, what'd you just say? And I'm getting tired too, so my synapses aren't working like they normally would in the morning. So, with that said, I guess I'll just let that go. But
that goes back to the whole idea of Turns out you don't really need to use your brain for anything.
No, you don't. I guess just speak light language. That's what I started to say was, if you're looking to explore your own voice, your own light language, or you know, these messages are for all of us and all of you all the time, for whatever it is that you need in that moment. So just take a nice deep breath and feel the gratitude that I have and the love that I have for all of you. And I'm so blessed and honored always that to all of you who share my dream, our experience, our dreams, our crazy ups and downs, our long videos.
And thank you for participating in our co-creation.
As always. Ninayo so usibe shoma elahalo nomaro kribe sonotea kisondo. Nitaliendo tiavali esena simbanone taliando coso. Vatorie shanonoa kilando yisha inaya. Apokote evoru shomase iti saminata eloja viatoinaneako. It was like my temperature just rose like 5 degrees. No sovesonia. Masoba ushoya vilala kiana mariana niata viasoko. Palihelo lavoro koni nani antara yandora vesoko. Plandia satokea. Seva sina inana malavakotea vakoshoa. Palanoe le shando ki ese siva sono taviala kashotiana. Amanoneva tevia somor okovakia talindo. Poto hishi inaya soko. Pianalia nomiata kila sonomiaya. Alazote shi ino. Visamoto vishkiashana sufishano tuya. Vishano poro ume. The inteya sotovishanete. And often following your highest joy is quiet. It is gentle. No words need be spoken. For what you feel, source feels. No ono te vakaliana no asanoto, as do all that radiate around you. They feel your bliss. So as you walk out into the world, give your blessings by giving your blessings. Share your bliss in that moment of that love. No iavasotoya. Shono sopianase. And don't be surprised if someone turns around and looks at you. Niavote veshonote vashonote. Inaiseva oro keshene sete. Sending. Feeling you sending them your bliss. Nazo veshoto nindia. As a washono te lakeanon te valake ano, the lightning sparks of love. Ne kiavashono te vaese seno. That is the language of light. Ne vosomosova. Te veshono te vela elano, bandea shonote, ke veshono se tayanana. Vashonate. Walk in the language of your love. No to veshenese. And simply share your bliss. No shoto koyata. Te veshono to velmo odea asa. Even sacredly, secretly, silently, it is felt deeply and fully. No bonte kivashonose. Alavashonote, and feel it, the wave of gratitude and reception. Nia vosanesete. Nava ontoya maate. We love you so much. Tiando veshenese. Nieto. That's it.
Okay. 155.
Bye, you guys. We love you so much. Until the next video, we love you so much. And do connect with us. Visit. Very excited to meet all of you, or shall I say reunite with all of you. Good day, good love, and good night, wherever and whenever you are. Natoya. Mahala. Namaste. Bye, everybody.